You have not re-Africanized your tradition. That means that you are actually an enemy to your ancestors. Well, brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you I'm going to speak for our ancestors. And I'm going to ensure that their voices are heard once more.
Religion house. Religion house. Religion house, house, house. Religion house, house, house. Religion house, house, house. Religion house, house.
Man, it never fails. They always trying to be on some BS. This guy here, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith of Indiana, must really think we some meaning black folks, descendants of African slaves, us, is totally clueless and dumbfounded when it comes to political affairs and where this nation is trying to go. Sorry, not sorry. We see you. We definitely see you. And we more prepared than you think. So here we are trying to move forward, and this Trump administration trying to knock us down. Pin this. A man that stands for nothing will always fall for anything. And we standing on business. Look at what this gin trying to get us to believe.
Senator Micah Beckwith, want to give you an update on a bill, Senate Bill 289, which is called Unlawful Discrimination Bill. Senator Byrne is carrying that bill. It was in the Senate just a few minutes ago. Well, if you were watching or listening to the Senate, if you were trying to fall asleep and were trying to get some good background noise on, you might have been listening. The Senate on the Democrat side, they got up and they started talking about how this bill embodies something to the effect of the three-fifths compromise. They were bringing that up. They were saying this is a bad bill because it actually just encourages discrimination, just like the three-fifths compromise, going all the way back to the foundations of our nation. I would like to share with you the three-fifths compromise is not a pro-discrimination compromise. It was not a pro-discrimination or a slave-driving compromise that the founders made. It was actually just the opposite. It was a compromise that the North made with the South. At the time, there were basically 13 independent nations. They had not really created a constitution. They were sort of a European Union-esque nation, and they were saying to the pro-slave states, hey, if you want to count your slaves to have representation, more representation in Congress, we're not going to let you do that, because they knew that that would codify things like slavery into our nation. And the North stood up to the South, and they said, we're going to, if you're going to count your property, because the South says, hey, this is our property, but we want to count them in the congressional representation. We want to count them in the census. At the time, there was 30,000 people would equal one member of Congress. And so they said, we're going to count our slaves. We're going to get more members of Congress in the South. The North said, you can't do that. So what they came back to the South and they said, fine, if you want to count your property, your slaves, as whole people, we're going to count our property. We're going to count our tables. We're going to count our chairs. We're going to count all the stuff that we have in our house. And the South said, well, you can't do that. And they said, well, you're doing it with your property. We're doing it with our property. So what they did is they came up with a three-fifths compromise. They said, you will only get three-fifths of a vote when it comes to your slave. And what that did, it actually limited the number of pro-slave representatives in Congress by 40%. This was a great move by the North to make sure that slavery would be eradicated in our nation. They knew what they were doing. But now, here you have Senate Democrats in today's American Republic who do not understand that. They think the three-fifths compromise was something that was a scourge on black people. That's not what it was. And how did we get to this place? We got to this place because of DEI in education. We got to this place because you have professors at woke schools that will not teach the history of what actually happened back in the foundations of our nation. Many, many men and leaders in our nation's history knew how wicked slavery was. They knew that God had created even black people, white people, red people, all people in his image, and they were fighting for equality for all. But they're not taught that today. And that's why you had the Senate Democrats who were getting up talking about the three-fifths compromise like it was some sort of terrible thing in our past. It was not. It actually was the exact opposite that helped to root out slavery and lead us into a more perfect union that we now see, where black, white, white, red, brown, all people can have equal representation under the law. That's what the Three-Fifths Compromise was all about. So don't buy into the DEI radical revisionist history that is happening in today's culture. Know your history. Go back and study the documents. Read them for yourself like I have. Go look them up, and you will find that the Three-Fifths Compromise and many other things like that were designed to make sure that justice was equal for all people, and equality really meant equality for all. So that's what's going on in the Senate today. Glad to keep you updated. Thanks for everyone tuning in.
Now, see, if you look at what he just said, the lieutenant governor of Indiana, and put it with everything that's going on around the country, you might ask, is we on the brink of a race war? If not a race war, a war nonetheless. Look at what Trump just said regarding the issue. And you let me know. Drop a comment if you believe Trump was giving us the heads up about what's to come. Do we know something we don't know? You tell me.
I will prevent, and I'm the only one that's going to do it, 100% will prevent World War III, which is very close to happening. And in my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country. I don't like none other.
Now, what the fuck? How you gonna build a dome over the United States? How you gonna build a dome over the United States? Huh? How you gonna build a dome over the United States? I'm telling you, man, you better pay attention. See, when you're dealing with individuals like that, especially like these guys that's down here, this guy right here, this Christian apologist vocab Malone, you know, he like the rest of them, hiding behind religion. What he throwing up over there? What is that? What he throwing up over there? But he's a Christian. He's a Christian. Don't forget, the KKK was Christians also. It's reality. It's reality. You see that? You see that? That's the KKK. Yo, Christians. Yo, Christians. They laughing, smiling. No God or Jesus ever appeared to them and told them not to do this. Think about that. Stop practicing the white man's religion. Stop it. Stop it. Stop worshiping a God who will let that even happen and do nothing about it. Do nothing about it. And pay attention to what's going on around you. Because they starting to just come out. Ain't no more hiding and this, that, and the other or what. Now, I ain't done yet. You just hold up.
Him a child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you.
Huh? Alright, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him
Yeah.
the little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
As you posted a defense of Shiloh on X, it's been viewed 2.5 million times, in which it was entitled, "White People Are Finally Fighting Back. Stand with Shiloh Hendricks." What did you mean by that?
White people have been under attack for years. It's been systematic racism. As much as black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges. White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on
Hang
our side.
on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear, this has got nothing to do with anything you've just said. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
Mm-hmm. I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why?
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my
Well, there are no black people in American history. Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading you,
yes.
your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they were brought here technically.
My God, do you understand how dumb you sound?
This is stupid. This is stupid and racist, and at some point...
to a peaceful day. Peaceful day.
We are for white and white only.
The last time it said that our guns were not loaded. We'll let you know they're loaded today.
Get away! 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 Get away from this gentleman! I would get out of here, sir. Don't hurt anybody! Don't hurt him! Hurt him, sir! Sir, don't hurt him! Sir, don't hurt him! Sir, don't hurt him! It's not what Dr. King was about!
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger?
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
These aren't police officers or soldiers.
They're business owners, their fathers, their sons, daughters.
These are civilians, members of the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch program.
It's a duty. Okay, let's go.
The duty, protecting their neighborhood.
Because when I asked, is this a reaction to a local moment or a national movement? And he said, look at January 6th. He said, you already have people felt emboldened to come here locally because of what they saw nationally. If you can hang from the building of the hallowed halls of the Capitol and then be pardoned, not be prosecuted, why don't you think you can come to a small village of African Americans, only 3,000 people?